Hi everyone, welcome to my channel Licensed to Roam, where I'll be providing content on football tactics and analysis on European football and the beautiful game from across the globe. You can follow me on Twitter/X at Edward Stratman, and if you enjoy the video, would really appreciate a like, subscribe, and any comments as I get started and hope to grow the channel. Right, for this analysis, I'll be focusing on AS Roma's Lorenzo Pellegrini, who's cutting a revitalised figure within De Rossi's Liberated Roma at present. Looking refreshed and shining since De Rossi took over from Mourinho. He now has 3 goals and 1 assist in the 3 games since De Rossi was installed. A big difference considering only scored 2 under Mourinho this term. Playing with such freedom in De Rossi's system, which I covered recently in another video, he's been a key factor behind the former Stars' dream starters manager that's seen them win 3 straight in Serie A, which has put their Champions League qualification dreams back on track. Indeed, the Cagliari match was a fine encapsulation of his return to form as the inspirational leader Pellegrini, who sets the tone with his actions, was so instrumental in all phases, where he combined power, finesse, relentless running, intelligent movement to help his team individually and collectively to propel them to a vital triumph ahead of their colossal clash with Inter this weekend. All right, to start the analysis, while his goal that saw him overtake Bruno Conti in Roma's scoring charts to move to 48 and his slick assist drew the headlines, his movement, tactical understanding, and dovetailing with his teammates was equally important. Right, as you can see, he was just such a master at forming these 4v3 overloads to really kickstart many attacks. This particular passage up on your screen now is a transition where he's got that box going, which has been a real feature of De Rossi's play. By doing so, this has actually led to the corner, which led to Dybala's goal. So having another impact in a goal-scoring involvement, even though it's not directly. Still such an impressive, so smart to be awake to spaces all over the pitch and where defenders are and where his teammates are. The scanning, which you'll see later, was just so masterful in this game. Just such a great knowledge and tactical understanding. Then onto this one, you can just see him about to receive the ball, getting prepared in a forward-facing posture. Lukaku's pinning defenders, so is Dybala, so is El Shaarawy. So he's just able to form that box, which, like we said, had been the feature. He's able to get the momentum straight away because he's scanned. He knows there's space in front of him, so he can turn and wreak havoc. So in this situation from a goal kick, he knows the forwards are pinning the defenders. Obviously, Lukaku usually held 2 because he was such a force. And Pellegrini smartly darts into the space there to be an outlet, to breathe life into the attack. Sees the open passing lane that the Roma midfielders dropping have created, and he just heads straight in there, dynamically occupies the space on the move, which makes him just even harder to track. Obviously, here you can see him scanning, so he knows he can receive this ball from Paredes, immediately turn and run at the defence. Just such a weapon of his. Just these little subtle nuances, which obviously talks a lot about in football tactics and analysis. And it's just the use of them is one thing, and then using them in the most beneficial ways and most sort of clinically. And Pellegrini did that so well here. Creates the overload. He's scanning. Paredes hasn't passed it yet. He has that mental imagery of what's around him, his surroundings. So he knows exactly what he can do when he gets the ball. Similar situation here. He's in that side-on posture. He knows that Lukaku's pinning the markers and his teammates are around, so he's perfectly positioned to get that line-breaking pass and immediately charge forward and just wreak havoc where he loves those powerful driving runs, which is such a trademark of his, and then to use his technical quality to either beat opponents or shred defenses with his through balls. Here's another situation where he smartly noticed that Roma are hemmed in against the touchline. He's dropped, which he knows is going to draw a marker, and that's perfectly opened the passing lane into Lukaku. So just really intelligent. Instantly know that he turns around ready to be an option to support the Belgian. So just very impressive. He impacted this match in so many ways, which is really bodes well for Roma going forward in the rest of the season. He's just such a multifaceted player and just so aware and awake to spaces and what's happening in the game, and just reads scenarios so well. Another really key feature of his game was the way he'd rotate with Angelino. Obviously, it let him push forward and fire in those crosses even more. So in this situation here, it's almost like a sort of triple rotation. Pellegrini's dropped in because obviously Roma mixed between playing a back 3 and a back 4 in possession. As you can see Karsdorp's positioning, but El Shaarawy was usually occupying that left flank. He's tucked in. It's created a 3v2. Angelino's pushed up, and then Pellegrini's at the base there, ready to dictate in the less populated area of the pitch and just wreak havoc and cause constant questions for Cagliari's marking setup. Here's another situation of the interactions between the two. Obviously, it makes a lot of room for Angelino. Defenders aren't sure what to do. Pellegrini, obviously being deeper, pushes El Shaarawy on, makes him a great outlet. So just mixing up between the players who was in deeper zones, who was in higher zones, if they were central in the half spaces or out wide. So it was really smart the way this worked, and it was a key feature of the match. Another situation here where Pellegrini's in that sort of auxiliary fullback spot. Angelino's rotated with him ready to attack the space in the channel. That's also helped to be created the way they've drawn players, the strikers and the wide man there. So yeah, just once again, very clever. Pellegrini and Angelino, a great testament to how well they work together. Another obvious feature was the El Shaarawy and Pellegrini access. Here, as soon as Pellegrini heads towards the touchline, El Shaarawy will duck in, execute that rotation so smartly so he can receive with a dynamic advantage between the lines. Notice Lukaku and Dybala are all there causing havoc too. So it just really constantly caused issues for them on who should be marking who, in what zones and in what areas. Another situation here where El Shaarawy's making that run centrally where Pellegrini would usually be. So the defenders lost track of him there. Pellegrini's rotated out wide. So just constant confusion, causing dilemmas, altering reference points, and just never allowing them to settle into a pattern of how best to stop him and Roma as a whole. Another great little feature was how well he dovetailed with Lukaku. Obviously, when they couldn't beat the press, Lukaku's the perfect target man and reference point to go to, and Pellegrini was always awake to this. He'd spin in behind and quickly be on hand to pick up those second balls in advantageous areas, facing forward with a great field of view and using his vision and knowing the runners. You can see the wide men, Dybala and El Shaarawy. In this instance, they're ready for the flick-ons or the nod-downs, depending on the ball and what Lukaku's there. So great coaching by De Rossi. Can get caught out if it doesn't quite go your way, pushing numbers forward like this, but they're prepared and they're willing to take that gamble. And in this situation, they win the ball and it creates a really promising attack with Roma able to charge forward with so many numbers against the backpedaling, unset, retreating defence. Same situation here. Pellegrini's perfectly positioned to receive the headed knockdown from Lukaku and can regain the ball in an advanced area high up with Cagliari a little bit all over the shop defensively. So just creating some really positive situations for Roma to get dangerous from. Just another last little thing where he runs into the box. In this situation, he's made one of his lung-busting runs into the box, which has become such a feature over the years. And he smartly just sort of does a little feint. The defender obviously is collapsed deep, and he just does a little feint, holds his position, and then takes a few sort of steps back. He's perfectly placed to receive the cross. Doesn't score from this one, but it just shows his smarts and intelligence of situations and how to make space for himself and how he's so aware of not only his teammates, but obviously the defenders where they're positioned as well. So certainly bodes well all this that Roma can sort of really have a good go of it against Inter and have a real crack against one of the heavy hitters in the league, which they've obviously struggled against in the past. So really look forward to seeing how it develops, but all the signs are very promising so far under De Rossi, even though it's early days. That's the end of the analysis. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe and leave a comment. Would really appreciate it. Thank you for taking the time to watch the video and have a great day. Stay tuned for the next analysis.